people, it's me and I'm back. Yes, new haircut, shaved because basically I looked like a tramp in my last video. And today we're going to be doing another Walking Dead video because I enjoy it so much and I want to keep doing more Walking Dead videos as long as it goes on for, which at this rate might go on for another 20 odd years. Hey, at least that gives me ideas for videos. And today we're going to talk about the top 5 biggest jerks who appear in The Walking Dead. Now I don't mean these guys are poorly written or anything, but are like proper evil jerks who would do what they can to survive themselves. Basically, if there was a website called Biggest Jerks, they'll be in here. Please don't go on Google and type in Biggest Jerks because I feel like a website's going to come up that is not related to the subject matter. But anyway, this is my top 5 biggest jerks in The Walking Dead. Hope you like it. And start with number 5. We have Gregory. Now, Gregory first appeared in issue 95 of the comics. And it's clear, and he is in charge of Hilltop. But it becomes very obvious quickly that he is not good. He's a wimp, he's selfish, and he'll do anything if it satisfies him. And doesn't care about his people. And he also is afraid of Negan, like the rest of the communities, and wants Rick to kill him. Obviously, that plan doesn't work, and then there's a huge war, and 2 years fast forward. In those 2 years, Maggie takes control of Hilltop by replacing Gregory, and obviously he's not happy about this. So what does he plan to do? Does he plan to prove that he can do it? No, his plan is to poison her. Although this is failed when Jesus saves Maggie. Not this Jesus, this Jesus. And during this time, and after this, Jesus says he should be imprisoned. Maggie, wanting to show an example, decided that was too lenient for him and decided that he should be hung in the middle of the town. And he was, and Maggie can watch as he dies. So if that's my number 5, think of what the other 4 are going to be like. You think the Walkers were the only ones that wanted to eat you? Wait until you meet number 4, the Hunters, led by Chris. Now, the Hunters first appeared in issue 61 and lasted to issue 66, so they weren't in for very long. But they set the bar high on what they could do. Basically, they stalked Rick's group for quite a while, and then they captured Dale, and that's when they showed what they truly were. With them eating Dale's leg, showing that they had resorted to eating people. Basically, the food ran scarce, and this was their only way to survive. They ate Dale's leg, not knowing at this point that he had been bitten and infected by a walker. Now, obviously, after this, Rick's group caught up to the Hunters and mutilated every single one of them for revenge for what they did to Dale and all the other survivors. Now, in the TV show, there's another scene with the Terminus section, with a scene which I must say is very brutal, with them getting survivors and cutting their throats open. This scene does not happen in the comic books, but for only 5 issues, the Hunters showed that they were basically doing whatever they could to survive. And if you think them bad, wait until you meet number 3. Number 3, we have basically the first ever human enemy that Rick's group came across. We're talking about Woodburn survivors and their leader, the governor, who is known as Brian Blake, but was first known as Philip Blake in the comics, but in a novel it was revealed that he was called Brian and Philip was his deceased brother. Now, Governor lost his eye and had a niece called Penny who he kept with him all the time, and she unfortunately was bitten and infected. Now, not wanting to kill his niece, which is understandable, he kept her locked up in his apartment and throwed the meat of anyone who displeased him. That included his own groups, any intruders, and also some of Rick's group. Now, when Rick first met the governor, it turned very dark very quick, with the governor cutting off Rick's arm. Later he fed it to his niece Penny. Now, with this, he decides that he will go to war with Rick's group, who were holed up at the nearby prison. And he had a tank as well. During the battle, Laurel, Rick's wife at the time, had just given birth to Judith, and Rick wanted them to run away. As they did, the governor saw them and told one of his people, Lily, to shoot them. She did it without hesitation, shot Laurel, who unfortunately was killed, and as she fell on top of baby Judith, crushing her. This caused Lily to go mad and upset, who in turn killed the governor by shooting him and feeding him to the zombies. Now, the governor is obviously dead, but his group has survived in spin-off novels, and he's the first main villain, human villain, that Rick's group had come across, and showed that the survivors of this new world would do whatever it takes they can to survive this new world. At number 2, we have The Whisperers, the villains that appeared after the 2-year flash forward. Now imagine as zombies, you're surrounded by a herd of walkers, and then they start talking to you and started attacking you with knives. Well, that's what the Whisperers do. They are led by a woman called Alpha and a bloke called Beta, and if they ever got together and had a son, I hope they called him Charlie. And basically, this group takes the skin of zombies and wear them to walk through the herd so the zombies cannot detect them. They are terrifying, and they pretty much don't like anyone else. When Rick's group was becoming a bit of an issue, they decided to create a barrier for them so Rick can't cross. And how did they create this barrier? Well, they took some of Rick's people and chopped their heads off, put them on pikes, and laid them out to mark where the barrier is. Although Alpha was killed by Negan, Beta took over and is on a revenge course with Rick's group. And they've currently just started to appear in the Walking Dead TV series. But with that, let's go to number 1. Well, it's kind of obvious you saw this coming. We have Negan. Now, Negan first appears in issue 100 of the Walking Dead comics, but he was name dropped a few times before that by his men and by a few of the other survivors who were basically afraid of Negan. They had never met him, but they were afraid of him, and when Rick came, it sounded like their prayers had been answered when he promised that he would kill Negan for them. And that didn't go the way it planned. Basically, Negan grabbed Rick's group, got them in a line, and had his baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire called Lucille with him, and started eeny, meeny, miny, moing them until he picked Glenn to beat into a bloody pulp until there was nothing left of his head, killing him instantly. Now, Negan is he's violent, he's crazy, and he's very actually kind of smart. He knows exactly what to do in a time of crisis. For example, in the big battle before the 2-year flash forward, he gets his men to start shooting arrows at Rick's group. But what he does tell his men is to cover the tip in zombie guts and then fire them. And that way, Rick's group would be infected, but they wouldn't have been bitten. And this plan does actually work. It actually shows that Negan is kind of a clever dude. He knows exactly what to do. Although he was defeated, he was imprisoned and for 2 years was Rick's prisoner. Although he was escaped later on to join the Whisperers, he responded with that by cutting Alpha's head off with his knife and went to show it to Rick to prove he was loyal to him. Now, Negan is always a person you would never trust. he'll tell you what you want to hear, but he will stab you in the back at first time he had that will work for him. And that's why Negan is my number one choice for the top drugs in the Walking Dead series. Well, that's my list on the top 5 biggest drugs who appeared in The Walking Dead. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on what other videos you would like to see on the channel. And and also go to my Facebook page that I've created for my channel, which is down below. And I'll see you next time on another video. Thank you.